Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome back to another video. So in this video we do have some more Nintendo Switch news to talk about, which includes Nintendo Switch 2 as well, especially when it comes to the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 and why it is like that. We do have some more information on that. We also do have some more information on how you're going to be able to diagnose any problems you do have with the Nintendo Switch 2. We have some more information on that and also another feature for the Nintendo Switch 2. So we're going to be talking about that as well. A lot of Nintendo Switch 2 stuff in this video, which makes a lot of sense since it's 23 days until the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be releasing, which I am really excited. I ended up getting a pre-order, so I am going to have it day one. But definitely going to be picking up at midnight too. But with that being said, if you guys end up enjoying this video, make sure you guys leave a like. It really does help the video when you do that. Pretty much any interaction on the video. So if you do enjoy it, share, like, all that great stuff. And of course, subscribe for more videos just like this. So first up, let's talk about the new feature for the Nintendo Switch 2, or at least the first one, because there is another one that we do have in this video that we will be talking about. So this one is gonna be a way to lock your system. So over on Twitter, Oatmeal Dome has this to say: Switch 2, it will be possible to lock the console with a pin. You will be prompted for a pin when the console wakes up from the sleep mode. So if you guys didn't know that, you will be able to lock the console probably just like you would do with like a phone or a tablet or something like that. Moving on to the next bit of news, we do have some more information on game key cards when it comes to limited run games. I haven't really been keeping up with limited run games at all. It seems like they get a lot of hate. Let me know why in the comment section, because I'm completely oblivious. That's how you say that word. I'm completely oblivious to what's actually going on. What did they do? Anyways, this is what the article from Nintendo Everything has to say. Limited Run says its numbered Nintendo Switch 2 physical releases will be full game on cartridges, not game key cards. And this is what the article says. At PAX East 2025, Limited Run Games commented on the ongoing discussion surrounding physical cartridges for Nintendo Switch 2. The company, known for bringing both retro and modern digital titles to physical media, confirmed that its own releases should include the full game on the cartridge. The only exception applies to partnership titles that aren't part of its numbered lineup, where the decision will be left to the game developer or publisher. So that last part is kind of weird to me. The only exception applies to partnership titles that aren't part of its numbered lineup, where the decision will be left to the game's developer or publisher. Isn't the point of buying it from Limited Games to get it physical? Am I just misunderstanding something here? Like, if I were to pay extra money for a physical game, I would want the game to actually be on the cartridge, because that's why I would be going to Limited Run Games to actually get the game. I mean, and I might be misunderstanding something. Again, I don't buy games from Limited Run Games. This news I'm covering is for people who do, but I myself don't understand why you would go to that, unless there's like special editions where there's like things that come along with it, and then maybe there's like incentive to do that. Because at that point, it's like, well, I get the cartridge, but I don't actually get the actual game on the cartridge. So I might as well just buy it digital at that point, right? The only thing I can say is, like, if you like having the case, maybe. I mean, other than that, I would just buy it digital at that point, which I myself don't really like buying digital. I try to avoid that as much as possible, because I almost lost all my games on, oh man, what was the store? Origins, that's what it was. That was a pretty huge scare, because I think I had like all the Sims 3 DLC, and there's a lot of DLC, and I almost lost all of that, plus Dragon Age and a bunch of other games. So ever since then, I haven't really trusted digital-only games, and that's another reason why I just don't like this whole game keycard situation, is because if Nintendo decides to shut down the Nintendo Switch eShop during their whatever next console that would actually happen, kind of like the 3DS, can you still download those games? Or is that just lost to time if you didn't download them already? Like, after you first download it on the console, and then let's say you beat it and you need to make room for the next game. Once you delete it, do you have to access the eShop to re-download that? Or is that always just on your console ready for download? Probably not, because they probably have to store that stuff on a server, right? Or something like that. So once they shut it down eventually, it's not going to be available for download. So there'll just be useless pieces of pucks that you're just never going to be able to use, and that's one of the big problems in my personal opinion, unless I'm wrong on that and you can just download it whenever and you just need that first download. Because according to the site, it does say that once you download it, you just need internet access on first startup, but they don't say anything about after you delete it. Do you need access to wherever it's stored? If you want to download it again, it's not already on your system. Or is it something like on the PlayStation 5 where you have a list of stuff that is already on your account and you can just click and download it on that way? Either way, it's just better to have the games on the actual cartridge. That's why all the games that are doing that with the digital download, I'm not buying them. I'm just going to rent them from GameFly, and I'm not paying my own money. Well, I guess I am because I'm using GameFly services, but GameFly has saved me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on games over the past like 5 years. So it's just going to continue to be useful in just another way now. And moving on to another Nintendo Switch 2 feature that we now know about. So if you've ever had any problems with your Nintendo Switch or anything, and you need to find out exactly what's happening with it when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, it's gonna be pretty easy, I would say, especially when it comes to having a phone, which most people do have a phone. And with the Nintendo Switch 2 just launching, I'm sure there's probably gonna be bugs that they need to iron out in updates, so having an easy way to find a way to fix it is probably a really good idea. So over on Go Nintendo, this is what the title of their article says: switch to error screens to include QR codes for easier diagnosis. Now, of course, this isn't anything new. A lot of console systems, handhelds, phones, etc. do these kind of things. They usually have some way to easily look up how to fix it, but it's good that it's just gonna be plain and simple. You just scan the QR code and they give you the answer. Unfortunately, a lot of times that actually does not even help. Sometimes it's something completely different. From my experience anyways, when it comes to finagling with different things like consoles, and especially when it comes to PCs sometimes. But anyways, this is what Go Nintendo had to say. On Switch 2, error screens will unfortunately still be a thing, but the process of figuring out what's up has gotten a bit more streamlined. Now when you're hit with an error, you'll get the usual crash message alongside a QR code. And they also mention there's no need to hop on your phone and search up a random long string of letters. That's one thing that I don't like about whenever I'm trying to fix something or trying to figure out something, especially if it's something as expensive as the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be. Like when my PC starts to take a poop, and some error happens or something's not working, I hate having to go on my phone and look up a long list of words and try to find out exactly what's wrong with it. Funny enough, a lot of times I'll just find the answer on Reddit for some reason. I don't know why, but Reddit seems to be a really good place to find the answer. But it's good that there's going to be a direct way to at least point me in the right direction if this doesn't fix the problem. And next up, we do have some pretty good news for Persona, Metaphor, Unicorn Overlord, a game that I actually took a chance on and I actually ended up really enjoying. So I'm actually really happy about this news. So Stealth40k over on Twitter has this to say: in their latest financial report, Sega called out Unicorn Overlord for having strong repeat sales. Atlas in general is doing very well for Sega. Now, one thing that, if I remember correctly, I could have sworn the devs said that they were open to a sequel to Unicorn Overlord, and if it has strong repeat sales, because I think that was about 6 months ago or so, it was a while ago, it seems that we might be getting that sequel, if that is true anyways. Kind of going off of my memory, it might be another game that I took a chance on and end up enjoying. But I would love to see a sequel to this game. It was pretty fun. It's a game that I've never really tried before, at least that type of game. So I'm pretty excited if we do end up getting a sequel because the strong repeat sales that Sega was talking about during their earnings report. And moving on, we do have some pretty interesting information about the initial plans for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. So according to Kiri Pink Fury over on Twitter, the Nintendo Switch 2 was initially meant to launch on March 2025, according to this leak game project. So as you can see over on the post, it says fact sheet outdated, of course, because that's outdated. That's no longer the launch. It says launch date March 2025. Now, the interesting thing about this is if it was actually going to be launching in March of 2025 and not June, we would have already had the Nintendo Switch 2 in our hands. The one thing I do wonder is if that's the case, will we still end up getting that June Nintendo Direct? I feel like this is a discussion for another video, but that's one thing that's been on my mind for a while is, are we still going to get that June Nintendo Direct? Because as far as I can tell, Nintendo does have some games. Actually, they have a lot of games set up now that I think about it, between those two Nintendo Directs and just companies come out and saying, hey, we're going to be having this Nintendo Switch 2 version on the platform, or we're bringing it to the Nintendo Switch 2. So there is a lot of games to look forward to. So I wonder if Nintendo just feels satisfied with what they have now, and maybe they'll wait till the September Nintendo Direct, because usually we do get a September Nintendo Direct. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we'll actually get a June Nintendo Direct? Because they're going to have to show off some games more. I mean, games like Metroid Prime 4, I'm sure will get their own Nintendo Direct. I mean, heck, Mario Kart got their own Direct too, so I don't see why Metroid Prime 4 wouldn't get their own Nintendo Direct, since it seems to be a pretty big game for the platform. And next up, we do have some more information on the home screen for the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you guys didn't know this, and this is something I didn't even think about, if you're wondering if you can use the mouse on the home screen of the Nintendo Switch 2, it seems that you are able to use it. So they actually have some footage of of someone using a mouse on the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to the home screen. You're seeing it on your screen right now, and it looks pretty cool. You know, it's exactly what you would think it is, but it's something cool that you're able to do with the Nintendo Switch 2. With that being said, if you guys reach the end, leaving a like would be much appreciated if you want to see more of these videos, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you want more of these videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.